done anything wrong, Nathan Buckley.
Pretty reasonable start to your coaching career. He's going to be 12 wins and 3 losses into his first season.
What's their run ahead look like? Darcers will just have a look after Marty Clark drives this ball forward, and the Cats in control as they attempt to come out of defence. Thomas was desperate. Yeah, the Collingwood run.
Just had a look at Hawthorn next week at the MCG. They play the Greater Western Sydney up there, St Kilda at the MCG, and then Sydney up in Sydney at ANZ Stadium.
So pretty tough for them, with the exception of the GWS game. And there's a 50-metre penalty as well.
Question for you, Bristol, on Twitter. Sam S has tweeted through as we look at the 50-metre penalty. It was pushing it back to Fasolo. He'll kick a certain result. Does tonight's result, Sam wants to know, say more about Collingwood or the Cats?
I think it says more about the Cats and where they're at right now, doesn't it? We expected, as Fasolo comes in and kicks the goal and almost missed it, I might add. It says a lot about the Cats and where they're at the moment. How many losses in a year can they concede before they start to go forward again with this younger group of players? Richo?
Well, there's no textbook that says you have to bottom out. Look at the Sydney Swans. They're continually able to rejuvenate their list and stay in the finals every year. They've done it beautifully. That'd be the model that you'd look at to try and stay in the top half of the ladder.
I think we always knew, Das, that Collingwood were going to be a really good side. There's been this question mark on Geelong for a couple of years now, hasn't there? And how far will they slip with the new kids they've got in the side? Is this it? Are we seeing the bottom of Geelong now, or are they going to go back further?
10 debutants they've had this year, and they're going to have 1 or 2 more of their experienced players drop out of the system. I think they've got such a great culture. They've got a great setup down there. I think they've got the ability to do what Sydney have done. Regroup a little bit, certainly not down to the bottom 4. There's enough good players who've learnt in such a good system. I think they will be competitive in the next few years as well.
Collingwood up by 2% percentage-wise in this game. Geelong have dropped 4% as the scores stand at the moment. Approximately, here's Clark. One of the players fighting for a spot. Thomas was dynamic early in this game. Really dynamic.
Dane Swan. It's up to 39 now.
Well, you predicted 40, Richo, and I
Thanks, lads.
think you're going to get your way. And there is the live ladder. You can see Collingwood perched on top. Game in hand, though, of Sydney and West Coast, who play each other tomorrow. Won't that be a fantastic game? And one of those sides will go to the top of the ladder. Travis Cloak get an opportunity for his second goal here in the last quarter.
That's his first mark. Great job Lonergan's done on him. Not very often he goes without a mark in a game. He's finally got one in the last couple of minutes of the game.
Averaged 2 goals basically for the last 5 weeks, Travis Cloak, and that average is going to be a little under tonight, perhaps, unless he gets another one.
He's actually someone I reckon has improved his mental headspace around goal kicking in the last 18 months that he's played. It is possible to do it. We've spoken a lot about Tom Hawkins at the other end, who has had a bit of a nightmare kicking-wise tonight.
He was very similar to Travis Cloak. I mean, Cloakey was in the field of where Hawkins is tonight with his kicking. And as you say, Dar's been able to turn it around. Here is Hawkins at the other end of the ground. Sidebottom, who didn't have a touch in the first quarter, literally. Deliberate out of bounds.
The Cats, geez, James Kelly's had a good night. Love the way he's played. His tackles and his clearances, he can hold his head high, James Kelly.
Guthrie to Smets, got one high, should have got a free for that. Handball off to Enright. Gives an opportunity here for the first gamer in Sheringham. Has he kicked the goal? He has. Got his first goal in the AFL.
Well done to that young man, Jackson Sheringham, who's come on as a substitute. Powerfully built young man. So he's copped a decent whack over the eye as well.
Well, Jackson Sheringham was very, very impressive here. Played in the Bell Park Premiership down at Geelong last year, Lingy.
Yes, he did. He was on Geelong's VFL list last year and played a number of games there, but went back to his local club, Bell Park, and Sal gets a free kick, but won a premiership there, and it's terrific that he got the opportunity to play at AFL level. Another one out of the Mickey Turner footy factory down there at the Geelong Falcons as well, even though it was via Werribee, touched off hands here.
A lot of important players in the Collingwood lineup. And I think the one that is just about going to be the most vital in the run home is Darren Jolly, who at times this year has looked as though maybe was just starting to get away from a little bit.
Yeah.
But he just continues to do a power of work, and some of the big boys, Bristles, we keep an eye on him there, they actually relish the work, and he's one of them. He
goes to 74% of the Collingwood stoppages. He attends 74%, the highest of any ruckman in the competition.
And he loves it, Brian. He loves the work. He's got such a big frame. He doesn't ever, as he competes hard again, he's not going to get 25 possessions and kick 4 goals, but he was a massive reason why they won a premiership in 2010. I think he is the player they can least afford to lose in the run home, because their ruck stocks, aside from him, in the short term, aren't that strong.
Dawes goes deep. Thomas doing a bit of body work there and overrun out of bounds. So
a couple of young big boys that they have on their list, they are developing nicely, but I just don't think Cameron Wood gives them the same strength around the contest that Jolly does. And here he goes again, working hard. As you said, he gets to so many contests, and he just gives you a great contest.
Indeed he does. They're very good with their stoppage work, the Pies. Johnson been good tonight. There is Sheringham.
You remember the grand final last year, he came in, was injured before the start of the game. It was a brave effort to play and severely hampered. They can just keep him sound, keep him out there. That's what he does. Never, ever loses outright. Always follows up his own work.
Fasolo. Long ball. Thomas perched at the back again. He's looking for a cheapie, Thomas. Oh, got hit solidly. Did he go down a little too easily, some would say?
Yeah, I think he tried to convince the umpire he needed a free kick there, and I think the umpire did that well. Read the situation.
Like the way he ducked his head into it. Dangerous.
Yeah, I think the umpire was onto it.
Johnson. Last 30 seconds of the game. Duncan a chance to trim the margin. Offline.
It's always things you can improve, and the Pies are, yeah, I think you were right, BT.
A little bit of a duck at the head there.
Conceded 18 marks inside their defensive 50 tonight, the Pies, so there's something they'll be looking to improve on next week against the Hawks.
This is one of the real concerns with the head-high hit, as we take a look at it again, is that players got so used to getting free kicks that they were ramming their heads into opponents. He actually copped a decent knee in the head there, Dale Thomas, so I don't think there was any exaggeration.
Him for ducking his head.
Well, and that's what you should do, because that will be more dangerous than any forceful contact the other way. Players were just becoming kamikaze-like the way they were going at it.
Well, as we tick down the final seconds, Collingwood have eked out win number 12 for the year.